Oh, hi. Welcome to another episode of Dishes by Kevin. It is shocking what this mold has done to my self-esteem. I'm gonna put it back in for the win. I put this lid on it. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong size lid. So one thing about lids that I am going to say today, because oftentimes we forget how important lids are in our everyday life. Like, you really don't want to tool around with the wrong lid on something and find out you've been mismatching. That's one of those things where it's kind of like when you leave the house and you're wearing your pants on backwards, and which not the end of the world. Crisscross did it, owned it, slammed it, but it might make you jump into the closest store so you can flip those pants around, or it might make you not be able to make it to the urinal or the toilet fast enough. If you're a guy, you can't open that front door because it ain't there. Been there. That's an awkward conversation with your manager. So I'm going to put this back in here, and frankly, I really want to get this pot of bleachy water out of here because it's taking up too much counter space, and it could just as well sit. There's actually literally nowhere else it could go, but I just put it somewhere very inconvenient. And now what we're doing is we're filling up the sink. So like I said, 20 minutes in, not too bad. Really, honestly, there's a certain level of progress being made that really couldn't be gauged in human time, because of that would be depressing. But now I'm back. This thing might need to be heavily edited. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to edit it. So if you do hit a point where it seems slow, just take a deep breath, edit it in your mind. I would appreciate that, just to keep me in higher esteem. I don't want you guys to think that I don't care about, efficiency and what have you, but we're self-isolating, and that could lead a man to do all kinds of unseemly things. It felt very good to clean this one utensil, just so I felt like I'm making some progress, but the truth is that wasn't the plan. And sometimes you got to throw the plan out the window, which is, I'm bringing back a theme for the show, which is exactly spontaneity. All right, so now we're cooking. I mean, we're not literally cooking. That's kind of the opposite of what I'm doing. But that's good. You gotta be careful when you have a knife inside a cup and it's poking point up. Also, don't give that note to your wife, because she's possibly going to stick the knife into your eyeball as a response to say, hey, if you had done the dishes, maybe the knife wouldn't have sat there as long as it did. It's a pretty good point, literally. It's actually a nasty point. Okay, so now we're almost there once I get this thing cleared up. See, in a lot of TV shows where they're doing like cooking and kitchen prep, what they do is they cut out this This is not in the show, right? They're like, you know what? No one's going to want to watch this. But look, if you're doing your dishes with me, or even if you're just contemplating it, and this is something that you're watching to warm up, maybe to get yourself psyched up. Like I used to watch skateboarding videos just to get psyched up to skateboard. And you can get so amped up that you'll start skateboarding at like, 1 a.m. The neighbors call the cops. Cops throw you against, a birch tree, which they don't know that you're allergic to birch bark. And then, you got to go into the ER at like 5 a.m. Basically, your Sunday starts on death's door. And no one wants to live like that. So that's why it's good to get psyched up at a reasonable hour and in a way that is basically just manageable. But then also, being psyched does kind of inherently imply, not being manageable. So it is, like many things, one of the great conundrums of human existence. It's a paradox. That you have to get psyched up to do something, but that then getting psyched up might inhibit you to actually do it. You look a little bit sad. And I'm not talking to whoever's, on the other side of this video. I mean my camera, which is just a phone. And how do you live life like that, Not having one core purpose. Well, I guess a lot of people, that's human existence too. So maybe that's why phones are such a big part of our lives right now. Now, I just did something. Oh, here we go. This is what you're looking for. Something like this, to seal up the sink so you can fill it, suds up the sink, as they say. And get that good sink action going. You want to build up, a store of basically goodwill, which is soapy warm water, and then you turn off the faucet so that you can do the dishes in phases. Now, is it spontaneous? No. And I promised myself in this episode that I would address the opposite of spontaneity, and that is pure process. Okay, that's going 1, 2, 3, switch, 1, 2, 3, just going through the motions. You're not going 1, 3, 7, 69. Why sexual? But that's how humans, that's how they go when they jump the gun. Jump the shark, jump the rope. Jumping the rope is anyone doing jump rope to stay in shape? Because I find that in my apartment, it's a great way to knock the lights off the ceilings. Just letting this sink fill up a little bit. It doesn't have to go too much. You don't want an absolutely full sink, and I'm going to tell you why. Full sink of hot, steaming, bubbly, soapy, sensual water that makes you wish that you were about a quarter of your own size so you could get into it. That kind of sink, just feel yourself just drifting into that sudsy. Oh, this is good. Take a bath. That's what I'm saying. And like taking a bath, you don't want to fill the bathtub to the brim, because then once you get into it, you know what you basically. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but because this is going to be a kids-friendly episode. But we have talked about death a lot. But, children have to be in touch with death when I'm around. Let's see. I'm going to I give this a little bit more soap. I want to talk about, this is something I got to talk about. You see how liquidy that soap is? I actually should not have done that. That was for the